Good evening, everyone, and happy to welcome you at today's event of MCC, Transylvania Lectures, The World as Our Classroom, an insight into global exchange programs and the life-changing effect of them. And we were talking with Bob about that basically these programs that he was slaloming on for 6 years and me only for 2 years, radically changed our lives, and the people we are today is deeply connected to these programs. We made friendships, we gathered self-esteem, or I don't know. You're going to talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger telling whatever he did to you. That's a nice, really nice story. And practically with Taylor, our guest from the US, we're going to have an insight in the vastness of these programs, how huge they are globally, and how colorful the palette is. And we're on the same side with Bogdan. We're former participants, and we're gonna share funny stories. Cila is the queen of these programs in Romania, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm gonna explain about that. Why am I saying that? And Laci is he's not using. He's been on the MCC mobility programs for years and years, and he's the expert of the possibilities that MCC Matthias Corvinus Collegium offers to students, because he's been on many. So here's us, and now I'm going to introduce everyone, because Taylor, it's been only for 2 days from the US here, and he saw the city, but we would have liked to talk more about the programs and show him around, but it's a really, really busy time for the work and travel programs right now. Students are coming, and yeah, it's March, you know that. So Taylor is Operations Director of Seasonal Exchange at the Council of International Educational Exchange, CIE. And this is the worldwide leader in exchange programs. Each year, CIE offers cultural exchange opportunities to 30,000 international visitors to the US, and training and teaching opportunities for more than 15 young Americans. And there are many, many details that you're going to talk about. Also trainee programs. But prior to joining CIE, you had the same experience with the global exchange programs as we all did, because you were a Peace Corps student, and you had an incredible experience with that, and then joined CIE as someone who truly believes in these programs. We're going to talk about that. Bogdan Bobradulescu has made fun of the work and travel programs for the last years. And
I didn't make fun of him. I thanked him in a way.
I know, but there's
been some story.
I'm going to ask you something that's going to be, fun and related to the knowing of the language, or not knowing the language in the first year. He's an actor and entrepreneur, former US Intercultural Exchange Program participant between 1999 and 2006. He's also a civic leader and active citizen, especially in community, environmental, and humanitarian causes. He's an outstanding storyteller, creator of legendary stories and characters that we all know, I think. And he's author or participant in several multimedia art projects, and an opinion leader with a huge audience on social networks. It's huge. Yeah. Cila, and that's why I said that you're the queen of these programs, and I'm not exaggerating, because everyone our age, if you ask someone, there's 15 or 14 companies now dealing with these programs right now. But back in the days, in 97, 98, 99, 2000, it was only CCUSA, which later turned to be Student Travel Romania. And if you ask someone our age, who do you go with to the States? Cila, of course. Who else? Cila, as if she was a brand in itself.
She was a brand.
Yes,
well,
she
still is. But at that time, and you're absolutely right. I'm sorry. You said Cila. She did not. You didn't have to say the last name. Or no one. It was Chila. It's
the
like you come to
program,
Cluj and you say
work and
Bok, everyone knows who Bok is.
Yeah.
You'd say Chilo, it's not like Chilo who, Chilo. So you're right, Blanca, you're right.
I just saw yesterday also that she doesn't know that. She's in shock. Yeah, Chila. Chila is the beginning, and
Chilo's the one that did for all of us.
Yes, expelled us to the US in the first years. Yeah, she's the country director of Student Travel Romania with the 27, that's what it shows, 27 years history of working in the culture exchange and travel industry, skilled in international relations, intercultural communication, management, youth development, and strategic planning. STR is a country leader in exchange programs. The company places each year around 1,700 students in the United States through work and travel and counselors and other programs, and not only US. And our student at MCC, László Szepesi, is a graduating economics student at Babes-Bolyai University. He has been a member of MCC for 7 years. Congratulations, it's a hard time to be. Yeah, he has extensive international experience, having conducted research on sustainability at the University of Cape Town, South Africa, as part of the MCC Fellowship Program. Additionally, he spent a semester at Corvinus University of Budapest through the Erasmus program, representing the Hungarian Youth Council of Romania. He has participated in numerous international conferences and congresses, and you're really young still. What is ahead of you? So this is MCC, this is the leadership program, and he's one of our students that we're proud of. Yeah. Taylor, coming from the US with his PowerPoint, explaining us the huge world of international exchange programs, which Peace Corps and Fulbright and everything is in it, and I'm just letting you.
And take it from there.
Okay.
Well, first, thank you, Blanca, and thank you, MCC, for inviting me, and certainly to Chilla for making these arrangements, making these connections. I'm delighted to be here in your city. It's so nice and warm here. I'm from Maine, which is north of Boston in the United States, and it's still snowing and still cold and still brown. So lovely to be here in the warm weather. So as Blanca mentioned, I've been at CIEE for 17 years. Prior to that, I have been where many of you may hope to go. I studied abroad, I volunteered abroad, I worked abroad. Along the way, at one point I thought I would be a medical doctor, and that international experience steered me in a different direction and brought me to you. So let me just jump right into our PowerPoint. I'll talk about CIE. So CIE has been around for 75 years, and we've had a single mission in all those years. It's to help people gain the understanding, acquire knowledge, and develop skills for living in a globally independent and culturally diverse world by bringing the world together through the most meaningful exchange programs. And this is where we got our start. So shortly after World War II, there was a group of institutions that got together that realized that educational and teaching opportunities abroad were going to be really important to bring the world back together after World War II. And so we organized ships to take young Americans and bring them to Europe, to bring them to Japan, to bring young people and teachers from those areas and bring them to the United States and build those connections between the countries. So CIE emerged, so this is some of the first travelers on a ship. I think there's some professors there, some students there. So CIE emerged to coordinate this travel and experience, and the modes of travel have changed over time, but our mission has remained the same, to bring people together and promote understanding. So since 1947, we've been bringing the world together. Blanca mentioned some numbers. So each year we welcome about a little over 30,000 international visitors to the United States to study, to train, to work in seasonal jobs, from high school level up to young professionals. At the same time, we have around 15,000 American students who go abroad to teach to study abroad for internships. And so every year that's a connection that we're making. So here are the sites to which CIE sends young Americans abroad. There's about 40 sites currently. So these are study centers and global institutes that we run for the basis of our programming. But our focus today will really be on the 30,000 inbound to the United States participants. And so it all goes back to 1961. So if you remember what was going on in the world in 1961, we had the Cuban Missile Crisis, we had tensions between the Soviet Union and the United States and the West. Well, in 1961, the US Congress passed the Fulbright-Hays Act, which created what is today known as Bridge USA programs. So the act reads in part, you can see it here, to increase mutual understanding between the people of the United States and the people of other countries by means of educational and cultural exchange. Sounds a lot like CIE's mission, right? There's some similarities there. And so that created, over time, many of the programs that we're going to talk about today. So I was a Peace Corps volunteer. Has anyone met a Peace Corps volunteer here in Romania before? So the Peace Corps was active here from like 1996 until 2013. The Peace Corps came about at the same time, was created in 1961 with many of the same goals. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in West Africa. Peace Corps had 3 goals. One was to try to help, make a difference. The second one was to learn from the community or the country that I was in, to learn new skills for myself and find commonalities. And the third goal is one that lives with me for the rest of my life, which is to bring the knowledge and understanding that I gathered in that experience and bring it back to my community and my country to share with others and to talk about that. And then Blanca mentioned the Fulbright program, or the Fulbright Scholarship Fund. Have you heard of that before? So that is a Bridge USA program now, but it was created in 1961. I think it's active in 160 countries around the world. I think each year there are 10 young Romanians who are selected for a year of study in the United States, sometimes 2 years of study. That's funded by the US government, again, with the same goal of promoting understanding between countries. So these programs started in 1961. So Bridge USA is a J1 visa program. There are visa types A through V, I think, and the J1 visas are overseen and regulated by the US Department of State. The Department of State designates private organizations like CIE, we're called sponsors, to distribute the program, to run these programs, and we distribute this program directly to students and through international representatives like Student Travel Romania. Our responsibility, we're responsible for the health, safety, and welfare of participants while they're in the United States. And really the idea is this is a part of our US public diplomacy, and if your country and our country are closer together, if our people understand each other, then war and conflict are less likely to happen. And that was really the ideas at the time after World War II and during the Cold War. And they remain important today. There are 15 programs within Bridge USA. 13 of them are privately funded. The only ones that are fully funded by the US government are the Government Visitor and International Visitor Program. And the rest all are mostly privately funded. So they're covered by the participant or by some other organization.
I see Bogdan looking. What are those? I haven't been on yet.
I could do this, I could do that.
Yeah. And so the ones in blue here are the ones that CIEE runs. I think there are about 40 sponsors of some programs. And no sponsor does every program, but there are a number that do a number of programs like CIE. And the ones here that are highlighted in yellow are the ones that we offer together with Student Travel Romania here. Talk about a little more history, the timeline of Bridge USA. So we talked about how the Fulbright-Hays Act passed in 1961. The first programs started 1963 and more were added. Summer work travel came about at that time. In those early years, a lot of the participants were from Western Europe, from Canada, Jamaica, South America. And really the major change came in 1989, 1991, when the Berlin Wall fell, when the Soviet Union dissolved, and there was an explosion of interest and participants, including, certainly people here on the stage from Romania, from Eastern Europe, from Russia, from the former Soviet Union to come to the United States. So very strong support for that from the US government to allow, provide the visas and the support. The September 11 terrorist attacks kind of flattened program growth, in travel to the United States. People were a little bit more worried about that kind of travel, of course. But by 2005, things had bounced back. The next challenge, of course, was the recession in 2008, and some reforms needed forms to these programs that also diminished interest. But they were growing again by 2012 up until March of 2020. I think we all know what happened that month, 4 years ago. CIE had a team in Bucharest in February 15th of 2020, had a fantastic job fair with Chilla. We were supposed to come back March 19th, and that of course is when the world just about stopped. So that didn't happen, and the numbers of these programs really fell off, and they're on their way back. After the travel bans and vaccination requirements, and the lifting of visa, limited appointments, we're moving back, and we're back over 100,000 participants in summer work travel and 300,000 in all of these programs. So just quickly by the numbers, the blue is the total number of Bridge USA participants. So in many years, getting up into 300,000. In summer work travel, you can see kind of coming and going. Usually in a normal year, about 100,000 participants, and we were just over 100,000 last year across all of sponsors across the entire program. To throw those numbers up again, so 30,000. So just back to CIA for a minute. So over the course of that time, you remember that 30,000 people come each year. For CIE, that means almost 1 million alumni. 1 million people have been on our programs and gone back home to resume their lives or have changed their lives and are contributing back in their community with the new ideas that they gained. I don't know what that number is across all Bridge USA programs over the history, but it's clearly, it's easily 3 million just in the past 10 years. So these are really large programs, opportunities for learning new things, getting new experiences, and bringing great ideas back home.
That's one important point, I guess, of these programs to come home that we need to talk about. They're not created for you to stay there or leave your country, but gain experience and just take it home back.
Absolutely. So, the idea is you learn some new things and you're excited about it, and you have ties to those countries that you've visited or those people that you've met, and stay in touch. And maybe there's opportunities again in the future to reconnect or to leverage that. I'm going to jump into a little bit Bridge USA by the numbers. So here you can see the big blue section is summer work travel. It's about 1/3 of all participants. This is 2023 numbers. Followed closely by university student. That's a field in which the Fulbright program falls into, or there's other sources of US government funding or foreign government funding for that program. It's a J-1 visa program. And the other next large ones are camp counselor, which we'll talk about today. I was a camp counselor, and as was Chilla. And then au pair and secondary school are the next largest ones. And you can see some of them were quite small or quite specialized. What does this mean for Romania? Well, that blue section got a lot bigger. So summer work travel dominates all the other categories. Last year there were 5,354 young Romanians coming on the summer work travel program. Clearly there's a tradition of this program in the United States. So we'll jump into this program in more detail. So we call our program Work and Travel USA. It's summer work travel, of course, with the US government. So it's for current university students, full-time students, can come to the United States to live and work while you're on their summer break. It's a J-1 visa program, of course. You're eligible to work up to 4 months in the United States, and then travel for 30 days, though most participants are coming 3 months or 3.5 months because they need to return home for classes, which is very important that we're not, that no one, your universities aren't getting mad at participants. And across all summer work travel sponsors, there are 100,000 participants in the program prior to the pandemic, and 2023 was a return to that number, and we should be seeing an increase from there as well. As your sponsor, I mentioned, as a sponsor, CIE provides health insurance. We look after health, safety, and welfare, and we're ensuring that the program rules and regulations are followed in terms of the jobs that are there, the quality of the housing, and we're available to participants 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So just to talk about the work component, all of these photos here were sent to us by participants last year. And so that work, it could mean being a lifeguard at a water park or working at an amusement park.
We were just talking right now in Csetetszői. We were having lunch, and I told Taylor that I had a friend working in an amusement park, and she said, Blanca, it was crazy. I heard 2 sentences all summer. See you at the bottom, and can I go, can I go, can I go? I was almost crying at the end, but it was fun still.
Yeah, there's certainly some positions in the park where you get
At
asked
the
all
bottom
kinds of
of
questions.
the
It's not so
slalom.
repetitive, maybe buckling in the people into their tubes or into the rides. So the best places to work are inside a national park like Yellowstone or Yosemite or a Glacier or the Grand Canyon. Students work as bartenders or work as dishwashers, whatever is of their interest and matches their level of English, perhaps, or their excitement to be in a place. And really, what is more American than working at a baseball stadium? So working in concessions and learning a little bit about baseball. No advanced knowledge required, of course, but that's a great place for people to work. And then there's the travel component. So some host employers will arrange bus trips to nearby cities like Niagara Falls here over on the left side. And at the end of their job, students can travel for up to a month, and they cover a lot of ground. I mean, the number of cities or places that students can go in 2 weeks or a month is pretty crazy. And then I'm sure there are some stories here that will be for another day. So just where do students come from? So here's the top 20 sending countries, 104,000 students. 20 countries account for about 85% of that. Right now, Peru is leading the way. You can see Romania there, maybe 8th place. There, the yellow section. But it's a large part of this global program if you think about the population of Romania compared to so many other countries around the world. And if you look at Europe, it's the second biggest country or source of participants for here, right after Turkey. And Romania's had a lot of been in the top 10 for a long time. So prior to the pandemic, they were first, second, and third. The pandemic, for visa reasons, travel reasons, has dropped it back down, but it's coming back this year. So as I mentioned, they're even in 8th place last year. That was still over 5,000 participants in the United States. So let's talk about what do participants gain from this program. So in the short term, participants earn some extra money. They improve their English. They see new places. Hopefully they make some friends that they will stay close with after the experience. In the medium term, according to a 2017 survey of program alumni, they gained new understandings of differences between countries and peoples, and gain the skills to bridge those differences. They were motivated to experience cultural change, and by and large, they did. And we know in the long term, so no one on this program is going to be a housekeeper or an ice cream scooper or a dishwasher forever. Really, it's just for a short period of time that you're doing this job in this maybe hopefully cool new place, right? But you're gonna, what we know is that these people, that the people on these programs in 10 years and in 20 years, they are and become leaders in government and in business and in academia. They become journalists. Very important in the fabric of their countries, and so they are finding ways to contribute and to give back to their communities. And there are ties that they make that maybe helps open a new business or grow a business or expand a business into other countries over that time. And those lifelong memories and friendships that can be renewed over time through other experiences. And we have some quotes from past students who were kind of amazed at all the people that they met and how friendly their supervisors were, and learning how to go fishing, learning fishing on a lake in the United States, or the roller coasters, zip lining, rafting, all the things that they're able to do. And what's in it for the host employers? So by and large, these employers are in seasonal areas with small populations, small year-round populations, but lots of visitors. This is like Denali Park in Alaska, or the Jersey Shore, or Ocean City, Maryland. Smaller towns that in the summer their population triples or quadruples in size with all the visitors that come there. Or in my state of Maine, the population of Maine doubles every summer with all the visitors coming up. And so the work and travel program, supplements their year-round labor force, allows them to stay open longer, earlier and later in the season, to offer to serve more customers. But at the same time, they really appreciate the diversity that the program brings to these smaller towns and communities. So they celebrate these differences. They do international food nights, or they recognize international holidays or the holidays of their participants. They'll do a Thanksgiving or Christmas feast in July to introduce some of the American Christmas or American Thanksgiving to their participants. And there are examples of employers arranging for students to shadow a professional in their field, or so like a medical student going to a hospital and seeing how the doctors operate there in the United States. And I can say some of my favorite days in this job are getting out to see students in their job, and it's talking with their coworkers and their managers. I remember one restaurant manager who had a board of all of his past students, and he pointed, I've been to their wedding, and their wedding, and their wedding, and over the years, and how he has remained in touch with them. Or another manager who recalled the first year that they had international students, his first year, and how close they were 7 years before. And I could see the tears welling up in his eyes as he remembered that, meeting people from around the world in his small town that he was living in. So it's meaningful for everyone involved.
I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, when you get there as a student, or Bogdan, I don't know if you felt the same, they feel like you're an orphan and have no one, no family and no friends. And then they have this mission of taking care of you. For example, I have East Coast mom, Sarah, and I have West Coast mom in California, Cindy, and they were really, really taking care of me because they knew that I have no one. So kind of the tears, I'm explaining the tears. I guess you had the same, parents all over the place.
A couple of nights ago, I gave an example. I'm sorry, Tina.
Please.
I was invited at a venue where I had to give some example of the leadership I met in life, throughout my life. And I remember the first example, I'm sorry. You guys have to record this, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm used on the stage. We don't
They were
need
looking
this.
at you. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And I was talking about leadership. Throughout the life, I've met managers, leaders, boss, we have them all. But a good example of leader was this lady that was running the department in the resort I've been for so many years. And she was the one that knew these guys in their 20s, literally 20 years of age, they left their home country for the first time, being away for like 4 months. And she would come up to you and say, hey, how are you doing today? Fine, thank you. You'd be working. You'd had your uniform, your name tag, you were doing stuff. And she would be like, how do you like this place? I like it. Are you homesick? Did you talk to your family lately? And you've been like, now that you're asking me, yes. And then I realized how important it is for someone to do this. Not every manager would do it. Not all the managers would do it. Some would be like, okay, let's do this, let's do that. They were nice. But you had some people that knew how to talk to you, come up to you and say, hey, are you homesick? Yes. Give me a hug, you'll be fine. Okay. So yeah, and I gave one of these amazing ladies. I was talking about her 2 days ago in a venue where we were talking about leadership. But yes, I felt so good. I was homesick, but in the same time, I felt so good. I got this question so many times. Why did you guys came home? Like, why did you return? I mean, you had everything, but in the same time, you felt like
all the time. Yeah.
Obviously, at some point, you're thinking, man, this is a really nice place. How could we stay here? And then, so I've been from 99 to 2006, and I never stayed outside of my visa terms or limits and everything. I've never had a problem getting the visa because of this. But I wanted to become an actor. It was my dream. But become an actor, not that I would not look at Hollywood, man, this is a good place to be. But I was thinking I need to go back to Cluj, I need to go to Beke-Szabó University, I need to do my way of
and then come back to Hollywood.
And then come back to Hollywood, not when I go to knock at the door, when they call, come on, Bob, let's go.
It's not the same.
But yeah, and in the same time, we were talking about, you had this regulation, these programs, these bridges. You do your stuff, you get money, as you said. I mean, obviously, the experience that you have is absolutely wow. The money that you're making, if you're hardworking, are wow as well. So, but then when we looked into staying there, it was so complicated. Like, dead serious. It's too complicated. You either get married, that's complicated. You either go to school, you need a lot of money.
You almost went to school.
Yeah, I almost got to school. I had someone that wanted to pay a university for me so I can stay there legally with being accepted in a university in Utah. And then the day I stood in front of the door and I was about to knock at the door and submit the paper that I already had everything ready, I was like, I'm sorry, I need to go back home. And those amazing, nice persons were like, okay, if you don't feel like, don't feel like. So yeah. Yeah, no, it's not my turn. Go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Taylor. I'm really sorry.
We were just, you were talking about employers and we were taken away by memories.
It is, bottom line is, and I'll leave Taylor, I promise. If you got the chance to go, guys, go. Like not just, okay, I'll go, just go. Go and you'll come back a different person. I swear. I know it for real. Yeah. Go for it.
And that doesn't mean go to the United States. That means go somewhere, try something different, do new things, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about the United States. My experience, of course, is going abroad, studying abroad, and working abroad. So any direction that you go will be bountiful. But to cover the American community, so there's a sign from the small town of Old Orchard Beach in Maine, and I know that there were some Romanian students at this community gathering. So the community's really come together to welcome the participants, doing welcome events, connecting participants to local banks, to libraries, to health centers, introducing them to the police, sometimes a scary subject, but the police are friendly, in the transportation system, in housing, and grocery stores and all of that. And no doubt there are always going to be some struggles. Culture shock is a real thing no matter where you go. There might be homesickness, but you're going to find your way through it.
Sorry, can I tell you about my personal cultural shock? I went to New York and I said, okay, this is like in the movies. Aren't these people bored? Because it's interesting for us, but they see the same things as in the movies. So aren't they bored? It wasn't the same with you.
We talked about it earlier. Now, if you travel, everywhere you travel, if you want to do it abroad, even if it's United States or somewhere else, you get your phone and you can literally a street view the place, like literally almost go in a building. You see everything about it. 20 years ago, you had nothing. Chila provided us with emails, so we had to communicate with the employers in United States, and we had a catalog. Chila provided the handbook, the WEUSA, like it was a Bible, with all the resorts or places that offered the jobs for us. I know.
Numbers.
And they had addresses and phone numbers, and you'd have www.sunvalley.com, and we'd be like, okay, what is the www?
What is Google?
But we have to go online. On where? Oh my God. So imagine traveling 25 years ago.
What is Greyhound?
25 years ago, flying to US and then getting a Greyhound bus. Oh man, Greyhound was exactly like in Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
That kind of. So these days it's so much easier to know and to see everything before. Then it was a real adventure. Although you had everything ready, and as Taylor mentioned earlier, the program gave us everything we needed in terms of information and the medical insurance and everything that as students we were okay, man, we had no problem. But you had to handle this.
Invincible.
Yeah,
We're invincible.
You
anyway.
you had to overcome all this and going to places that you knew from a handbook, a green handbook that I still have at home. I still have the catalog at home. Oh yeah, I do. Obviously, I have a lot of junk, man. Do you ever collect your boarding tickets from the planes?
Yes.
No, mine are all.
Yes, I do.
I got them all. I have them all the tickets from all the flights we ever bought. Well, a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Sorry, Taylor, but yeah.
So switching gears just a little bit, I want to talk about the Young Civic Leadership Summit. And that's for those interested on the Summer Work Travel Program who want to take their experience a little further. So it's an exciting conference CIA holds in Washington, D.C. It's a 3-day conference at the campus of American University. It includes interactive workshops. The focus is on making a difference, change making, American civics, leadership, as well as a guided tour of DC. And it's a full scholarship opportunity that includes flights, accommodations, and meals. So from wherever you're working to Washington, D.C. Past summer, we had over 1,000 applicants to select 40 of them. So it's quite competitive to fill out an application. And it's a lot of smiles here, but I know they worked very hard too over those days. So just going to close up on summer work travel. So here's the kind of the road to the United States. So one visits or contacts a CI international representative to start an application. You select a job for which to interview, either with the host, the employer that is, or with the sponsor. If the hiring decision is positive, then you submit your application. The sponsor, like CIE, reviews that, and we issue a DS 2019 form. Used to be an IAP 66 or something. And that is what you take to your visa interview. And if that goes well, then you book your flight and finish your studies. And if you don't have housing with your job, which sometimes happen, then you definitely want to be starting that process early. And you got to do all that while you're also going to class. So a lot to do to get ready for that departure. I'm going to talk about a little more briefly about some other J1 visa programs, Bridge USA programs. So Camp Exchange USA. So attending a summer camp is a tradition for many American kids. It's where many, myself included, first got some independence from their parents. Some of these camps are 1 week long, some are 7 weeks long. Some cover like learning outdoor skills, how to build a fire, how to swim and boat, archery, and others are very heavy on sports, so basketball, football, horsemanship, whatever that might be. And so the Camp Exchange USA program partners these summer camps, these traditional summer camps, with talented counselors from around the world. So this program is different from summer work travel in that it's not just for university students, but anyone over age 18 that has a passion and a skill and enjoys working with kids. So typically participants come in May or June. They stay until August. It's at least 8 weeks. And last year, counselors came from 30 countries. And so these camps are looking for participants that are ready to teach swimming or boating or archery or arts. So if you have a passion for theater or for fencing or any number of things, those are things that these summer camps will offer. And so the 4 years that I spent teaching nature and swimming and boating at Camp Portaferry in New York State were amazing. They were great years, and being a counselor there as well. So there's about 28,000 camp counselors that come to the United States each year. About 10,000 are from the UK. I think we had 18 from Romania last year. So not quite here on the list, but if you're someone who's passionate about any of these things, about the outdoors, working, teaching children, this is really a good program for that. And this could be your housing. It's pretty rustic at many of these camps, but this could be your workplace, working with horses, teaching people how to ride horses, or any of these here. So boating, archery, and many other things. One that might also be of interest is CIA's professional exchanges. So this is comprised of intern and trainee program and research scholar. It's a way that so internship is for those in university or recent grads, and it's a way to come to the United States and get more training, in your degree, in your field, maybe your first, kind of work experience there. All of these programs have a strong training component. So there's a training plan that's drawn up between you and the host organization ahead of time that outlines some rotations through the company. There are many fields such as fashion, culinary, finance, engineering, IT, business, you name it, where you're going to make a career out of it. The professional career training program is for those who either have 5 years of work experience already, or who have a degree in at least 1 year of work experience, and that training is very closely related to taking your profession to the next level through training with a similar kind of business, whether that's in IT or finance or fashion or whatever it might be. Many interns come from India, from France, from Ireland, from the UK, number of countries here, and we had about 90 participants from Romania last year. So definitely something that I think for new grads would be of interest. And CI is increasing our effort to find placements, so find openings at businesses for participants around the world. Here's just a couple examples of interns at the worksite. And then finally, last one I want to talk about. So this is not quite the crowd for the high school exchange program. Everyone here looks like they're in university or out of it at this point. But maybe your siblings would be interested in spending a year or a semester in the United States. If they're in high school, that's secondary school. This is living with a host family in the United States and having a very American experience, going to an American public school, being a part of that family. CI is host families and local coordinators in many U.S. states. And what does the community get out of this program? So for host families, that you get the enjoyment of sharing your home and learning someone else's traditions and sharing your own traditions, very much like a host employer. So the host experience can be kind of similar. You get exposure to new ideas and languages. You can bring the world to get closer together in that way. And for the schools, they get to bring new cultures and new ideas into their schools. There's so much that can be learned from a person in person, face to face in a classroom, more so than on a website or in a book or on a TV program. And a great quote from a family: "We wouldn't host if it wasn't fun and meaningful. It's kind of cool to be 53 and find a new family member from a country you've never been to." And so finally, just let me close with two photos. So I figure most people recognize the gentleman here on the left. If not, his name is written there up there on the wall. I want to draw your attention to the gentleman with the beard standing next to him. His name is Paul Runken. He's from Romania. He was a fellow at the Civic Leadership Summit in 2014. He was in my group at that time. Very bright, great ideas, really loved working with him there. He came back from that work and travel experience. He went to Brussels as a trainee and worked in the European Parliament for a few years. And then he was selected to be a fellow in the Obama Foundation Town Hall and to meet President Obama and participate in a seminar with him. He's back here now. I think he lives in Timișoara. I'm not sure if he's a travel student or elsewhere, but it's too long ago to look him up anymore in our database. But he's making a difference now in corporate governance. And then this one's for you, Bogdan. So the woman on the left here is my colleague, Rebecca. And she just paid a visit out to Sun Valley 2 weeks ago. And she's joined there by a young woman from Paraguay who's a summer work travel student, or I should say a winter work travel student, because she is from South America working there. And she's wrapping up her program this week and will be heading back home as the snow starts to melt out there in Idaho. So probably a different experience from you, given that there was lots of skiing this winter, and you probably did many other things besides ski. So, so thank you.
Thank you, Taylor. And I'd like to ask Chila now, because she started as a true adventurous global exchange program student. And I'm saying that because when Chila applied for the program, there was no program in Romania to apply for. So she was the most adventurous of all. It all started with a flyer from KMDS, the student council that she saw, and she had to go to, but you said.
A flyer can change a life.
Yeah.
I would say. I found the flyer at the KMDS office, the Hungarian Student Union, and at that time it was
96?
something. In '96, yes,
Yeah.
something unique.
You guys were born in?
We were not born then. And
It's okay, Bob.
Yeah, it's a long time ago, and this is how I found out about the program. Then I went with a scholarship to Hungary, and lucky me, I had an office there, a CCSA office, and I got enrolled to the program. I went to the United States for 2 summers. I worked in a summer camp as a general counselor. It was the best summers of my life, I would say. Yes.
You did not go to make money then?
I got some pocket money.
Summer
and I
camps
was so
are
happy,
different, yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I can imagine.
The money you get working in a summer camp is less than what you make doing the work and travel program. And this is because you get pocket money, you get meals, and you get free housing, and you are having fun most of the time.
And your whole life, your whole business was based on it?
Everything changed from that. Yes. I came back in '96. Then I
you were a
started to
PhD student, and
I
never
was a PhD
did
student.
Yeah.
No. I renounced. I came back to Romania, and I done this program, the recruitment, every weekend. And yes, we started in '97. We put the basis for student travel or work and travel in Romania in '97.
Weren't you afraid of the responsibility? Because if my mom met you, luckily she didn't, when you sent me there, she would have had a lot of questions that I'm not sure you could have answered.
I can imagine. I was lucky because we didn't have mobile phones at the beginning, and the email was something rare. So even if the parents were very worried, it was hard to contact me, and I tried it. And it was good.
Chila, just a name.
Yeah, everybody wanted to get out from that country, from our country. in 96, 97, you know, the communist feelings. And I think we didn't think too much.
Oh.
No.
We didn't have too much information like
We
today
didn't
to
have
think too much.
information.
It was an
We were so
adventure.
brave,
Yes,
just
we were like,
going.
let's do it. I remember I asked my parents. So I was in the first year of studies. Everyone heard about Chilo and the programs of going in the States. I went home that night. I remember it was dinner at night with the family, and I was like, Mom, Dad, I want to go to America. Like, America, I want to go to US. And Mom was like, oh my God, but would you, like, do you want to eat something first, or you just want, I was like, come on. I remember my mom mocking me, like, in a fun way. Oh my God, but you want to stay for dinner first? I was like, no, really, and I need money. And she started laughing. It was a tough condition at that time. And I remember, so it happened 25 years ago, and I remember the program was 1,475, including all the process, the forms and everything, and including the flights and stuff. And I said, I need 1,475 dollars. They looked at me. I looked at my mom, and then they were like, good luck, we don't have those. Can you please get? I was like, we cannot. So my parents borrowed money in the first year, and then when they gave me the money, they said, okay, here's your adventure to the US. Remember, but you have to pay this money back. I was like, okay, so I did.
We're moving in a tent.
Yes, basically, yes. Yeah, those were the times. And we were adventure, as Chilo said. It was an adventure. You didn't know anything. Like, let's do it. And you did it.
Yeah.
Man, I suck now. I go to airport sometimes, and I'm like, hold on, hold on, let me check. I was like 25 years ago, I was bright. I was like, this way, we do this.
Yeah.
Not knowing too much. I mean, first time in an airport. Good times.
And here we have our student, Lotzi, that doesn't need any money to travel. Why?
Why?
I'm exaggerating
How
now.
do you do that?
No, MCC is the place where a lot of mobility happens, a lot of programs happen, and you guys are just so lucky because the world is open and you can use any of the programs, and you know these programs. So please share with us and the ones you chose to be on.
Okay, so thank you very much for the invitation and opportunity. Yeah, so it's in overall, it's not easy to get these mobilities and programs because the competition is high and you have to put a lot of work. But here I would like to mention probably the biggest and most important role of the MCC, which is the fact that give us for the students an opportunity to be competitive, not just in the local regional level, but also in the international level, and to compete with other regions, communities, societies. So briefly about the programs. We have the training grant program, which is between 1 week and 3 weeks for summer and winter schools. Then the students can apply for these and they can choose from the best of universities. For example, here sitting Mr. Daniel Barta, who was in Netherlands, for example, and he got a very good experiences there. But also, for example, we have not just exchanging programs, but also the Erasmus or Discover EU, and the MCC also motivates you to take part from the Erasmus programs, and if you want to research, then they will offer for you scholarship. For example, we have Bardos Anna there, who was in Netherlands with Erasmus program, and she did a very good job there. So let's moving on. We have study trips too. For example, I was in Bosnia with Julius Strauss, who is an exceptional journalist. He was there when the war happens there, and we saw how tragic is to see a war and what's happened there. But we also was with Emesha Orban in Israel, and we just 1 year before the war, and we saw that something is happening and something could be happen. But my favorite program is the fellowship one, which is opportunity for 3 months to make a research in abroad with a mentor. For example, David Ilonzai was here, who was the first student from Transylvania, and he was in Poland. So these are briefly, and also we have international partner universities such like the ESMT Berlin, which is in the top 10 from Europe in regarding with the business course, and the Model University. But how I told you, my favorite is the fellowship program, because I was in South Africa at the University of Cape Town. My mentor was David Fenter, who was the former main advisor of Nelson Mandela, and I had the chance to live with him for 3 months, to learn from him, and to make a progress in my academic career. And I also was shocked how a society in Africa is working. For example, I went for a hiking one day with workers from Malawi, and they told me that they are very, very happy because they are in South Africa, the best place in the world, and they are getting $6 or $8 per day, and this is the El Dorado, because in Malawi they are getting just $2 per day. And the day after this, I had a tennis match with one of the son of Italian diplomat, and he told me that he's very unhappy and angry because he didn't get that Ferrari from his grandparents. And I have to mention here that he came for this tennis match with a Porsche 911. So these are the social inequalities in South Africa. And then I understood what's happened in the communist era here in Romania, because I faced with load shedding, which means that 6 or 8 hours without electricity in South Africa. And the funny thing was that the state couldn't provide electricity, and in place of resolving it, they printed newspapers where were the following titles: "Please don't forget to buy candle when you are going to shopping." So I faced with these things, and but also what was probably the best thing, and I would like to mention again that it helped me a lot in my professional career, and I had the chance to write a book about sustainability and about renewable energies.
Together with your mentor?
Yes, together with David.
The title, if we have to look it up on Google?
It's not published yet, but I am trying to force in the MCC to publish it.
MCC Press in Hungarian?
Yes, probably after this discussion they will publish it.
Okay,
Nice.
cool.
Good luck, Lotzi.
Thank you.
Cheer for you.
Everybody heard.
That is also amazing, and I'm also a little bit envious because Cape Town is definitely on my bucket list, and you must have had a culture shock too.
Yes, and I would like to add some more things, but it's very interesting in these exchange programs, because you have the chance to present your country, your region, and to make friends. And it's very, I think it's a proud to add something more about Transylvania, not just that this is the country of Dracula. And it's very interesting and hard to when you are presenting such people like Kós Károly, Adi Endre, or Jon Luca Caragiale.
You did that?
Yes, of course.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so that was what I wanted to add. And also to test yourself, that you are able and you are competitive to be there, and to have a competition with others, to collaborate, and to remain in life.
Yeah, after all, it's about that, and you gain a lot of confidence for life.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes, it's very true.
I'm not here to share my experiences, but I would like to tell
Why
you.
not?
Whenever people
I
ask.
bet they're fun experience.
Yeah. I've been on 2 work and travels and 1 internship to the US, and I've been on both sides of the program, working with companies such as Chilas for 6 years, and for 2 years in San Francisco, California on the sponsor side. So I see the program from all 3 parts. But that was not the point. I would have liked to add two things to you, to Peace Corps. That's why I did something like that when you asked if we met people from Peace Corps. It was the best experience of my high school to have two English teachers from Peace Corps, Erin and Judy. And the way they taught us English and history was just amazing. You know what she did? She took American Pie, the song, and she explained the whole history of the United States through that song. Can you imagine what that meant to us, to Bolyai high school students, not learning it from the book, but what the lyrics are.
It blew my mind when someone explained it to me for
Miss
the first
American
time.
Pie. Every line is just a part of American history, whomever it sings, Madonna or someone else. And whenever I hear that song, I'm just thinking, oh my God, how lucky we were to learn about America through this really cool Peace Corps teacher. So that was my experience I wanted to share. And the confidence that you gain, I wanted to share that every time people ask me what was the biggest challenge of your career. And I've been a journalist for 14 years, being live on television, and MCC is a huge challenge now for me. But the top of the top was participating at a conference in San Diego. No, actually in Carlsbad, near San Diego, California, at a global exchange program conference. And I had to present Romania's situation in front of Americans. I was 20-something, and in English at a conference for Americans, the whole situation of Romania. I got some help from my colleagues from Romania, but I was so scared. Oh my God. I didn't even care about the ocean, about Carlsbad, about the hotel, the friends, nothing. I was just extremely scared of having to do that. And I remember that the whole schedule of the program, the conference was delayed. And I got to be the last before the last, something like that. And my boss said, Gail, that, yeah, we don't have time, we're in the evening gone. And you, Blanca, you're gonna begin in the morning. First in the morning, you and your colleague from Bulgaria, and everyone's gonna begin in the morning. I was, no, Gail, I'm not gonna sleep tonight. I'm just gonna die. Let me say it now. And she was like, yeah, okay, Blanca, say it. And it was funny. I could manage to relax and present Romania's situation, but that was the absolute challenge of my whole life. And since then, like, okay, I was in a conference in America presenting Romania's things, so nothing compared to that. I'm sure you and everyone has this, okay, what am I gonna do now? And if I did that, I can do anything. I wanted to ask you, Bob, about the Romgleza. Do you all know what Romglish is? Like the language.
I guess every country has it.
No, not necessarily,
Well,
because
I'm thinking about
Hungarian,
French English. It might not be French English.
they say Hungarian language is not permissive to get all these American and English words in. So in case someone doesn't know, Romglish or Romgleza is the language invented by the corporations. When you say am la job un task de făcut cu un deadline și un kind reminder am de la HR și așa vorbesc corporatiștii. No. Bob is saying that he invented Romglish, so please explain us why you invented Romglish.
Long before corporations in Romania. It was the summer of '99, and some of the students that went to US, we knew basic English. I mean, we had to pass an interview with Chilo and the team. Some of us were lucky enough to study a little bit of English in high school, so we were able to have a basic conversation. But some people were not that good at it. So we had a couple of examples, and one of them was a guy that from Romania. I know for sure it was not in our program, it was in a different program, but still from Cluj, made it to US. And he worked in an amusement park. The guy had literally had nothing but yes and no. Basically, that's what he knew when he left from Romania to the States. he knew yes and no, no other word, no other word. And somehow he managed to work in a cafeteria for employees at an amusement park that had 4,000 employees, somewhere like Six Flags, Illinois, something like that. And I had 4,000 people coming to lunch every day, American people and international people coming to eat. And they would speak English. I mean, it's so normal for a person working in US, an American citizen working in US, living, to go at lunch and see what the food is, and talking to a new, like a guy that just popped in like 2 days ago or something like that. And he would ask this guy, and he would not nothing but yes and no. And then he heard the other one saying this, and he asked, what ce this? This he asked, this. And then he made the first progress. Like people would be like, hey, how are you doing today? How's life? Okay, what do we have for lunch today? Okay, can I get, so what do we got? This. And the guy, the first week was this, everything was this. People started being like, okay, just give me this and this and this. It started like this. And then it went through the whole 4 months. It was amazing. And a couple of weeks later, he moved. He came all the way to Sun Valley. He worked in a deli, and we had meat. And you'd have chicken, you'd have pork, you'd have fish, you'd have veal as meat. He would not know them all. And people would be like, hello. I'm kind of hungry. Can I get a sandwich? What kind of meat do you guys have? And be like, have chicken, pork, vacă, capră, oaie, pește. He would go like this. People were like, excuse me, say what? Yeah, chicken, pork, ăsta, vacă, coaie. Yeah. This. And then the other one, my friend who spoke English, who speaks English, but he was somehow homesick in a way that he wanted to remember speaking Romanian in an American way, or American in a Romanian way. And I used to work with this guy, Adi, in a deli, and people would come up to us and be like, hey, how you guys doing? Happy? No, we're doing good. Apoi ce-o face? Yes. People were like, man, I almost understood what he said. It's like, no, Tsukuva, are you hungry or something? And people would be like, yes, did you ask us if we're hungry? Evident că, of course I asked you, no. No, but would you like a sandwich or something, huh? And people were like, I think he asked us about sandwich, yes. So would you like a sandwich? Because I can make you a pizza, which I make your sandwich so tasty and good. And we were cracking, and we were like laughing, and we were like, man, we're gonna get kicked out. Shut up and speak English.
I'm saying
I speak English. Am I not speaking Tsukuva English with you, huh? It looks to me that it's like I speak English. And people were like, but we understand. It's like, man, it was an amazing stories. We had these amazing stories. It was fun. Those were fun times. Oh man, and there's more to it. I think you should have some questions for Taylor, man. He told you he presented the whole program. Any questions? Anything? Because with me...
Did you understand something of what he said now?
Yeah, he understood everything.
This? You understood this?
This, and this.
I saw a podcast with you with the story, and the guy said, disul american.
Disul american.
Yeah.
Nice.
I remember two things. I remember that getting there, I had 1 week of career of being a waitress, because I knew that I would just... it's not for me. And I remember...
Welcome in front of public, Blanca.
I know. I remember first day, they told me about beverages, and I said, I know English. That's not beverage, that's drink. Drinks.
I know.
You know, in hospitality it's beverage. It's like, no, I'm telling you, it's drinks. No, it's beverages, Blanca. You're telling me I don't know English? No, it's drinks, and all the way through. But Americans can be kind of like the same when they're cool. When they're in client services, I had 2 experiences. One time at 2 a.m. in the morning, we went to this petrol station, and the guy was...
It's a gas station, Blanca.
Yeah.
A petrol station. You're not in Britain.
Wrong English. Gas station.
Oh, God.
And
Jesus, Mary.
And I asked the guy, how are you? And he was, how are you? And I said, how are you? And he said, I'm living I was in Georgia, in Atlanta. I'm living the dream. I don't know whose dream it is, but I'm living it. It was
Oh,
just
really
so
fun.
cool. And another time I went to this fast food by the highway, and I asked about this noodles. It was really messy looking, and I asked, okay, so what would you recommend, this or this or this or this? And he was looking at me and, I don't need this shit. I have no idea about those. So I was like, okay, that's okay. About client services, yeah, which is really good in the States, and we all got back from the US with the knowledge of knowing how
Customer
to-
service, I know.
Customer service, yes.
You can make a career, sorry Blanca, and you're right. You can make a career in customer service. And we had this orientation in Sun Valley. It was such a healthy, simple, good orientation. Guys, you just have to be nice. Smile and do your job. It's not too much of a deal. And we're like, really? Really? And it was like that. Those 3 days of orientation teach us that you only have to smile. And we got this, I tell people in sales, I go to different conferences, talk about different stuff. And I talk to people in sales and I tell them, and this is a true story that can be checked at any point with some very company in Idaho. The summer I went in, the summer I started working, the pay was $5.75 an hour, $6 an hour. Okay, so you would work, we're talking 99. $6 an hour, 8 hours
It's
a day.
$18 now.
How much?
$18.
Oh boy, not
$19.
bad. So $6 an hour.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
$6 an hour for 8 hours would be 48 hours a day. You'd work for 48 hours a day minus taxes, obviously. And when we talked about orientation, they said, listen, all of you guys that work in customer service, face to face with a customer, if you guys are nice and friendly and helpful, if you get a recommendation, any kind of verbal or written recommendation, the company has a policy. And we were like, what policy? And they were like, if you have a person saying, can I speak to your manager and say something nice about you? Or if the clients, if the guests check out from the hotel and they fill out one of those forms and say, hey, so I went to this place and there's that guy from Romania, his name is Bob, who's been really nice and helpful. If you get any of these recommendations, you get a $50 voucher gift certificate. I was like, wait, what? So I have to work 8 hours a day for $48 minus tax, or I can get a $50 coupon if I'm being nice? They looked at me like, yeah, good luck. It's not going to happen too often. I have them at home. First summer, $850 worth of vouchers, of gifts. I'm not kidding you guys. $850 for what? For being nice and talking to people nice and being helpful and friendly. This was a policy that the Sun Valley company had. I think in the second summer, myself, those 2 other Romanians that we've been, and 4 others, guys from Costa Rica, I think we won that Employee of the Season award or something. It was like 1,200 of us, 1,200 employees, and like 5 or 6 of us we were like, man, these are the best.
And
because we were nice.
And you didn't know English.
No,
That's
I knew
it.
English at that point.
Not you, the others.
Yeah, the other ones. Oh, the other ones came late. I think the other ones started in 2001 or 2002. I was there. I was working when the 9/11 happened. And being on the West Coast, we were 2 hours, 2 hours late. Like it was 9 o'clock in New York, 9 o'clock in the morning, and it was like 7 o'clock in the morning in Mountain Time. We were in Idaho. And I remember when we got that phone call in the morning, we picked up the phone. I remember the line, turn on the TV. Like what? What channel? Any channel. Any channel you would turn on the TV, you'd had the World Trade Center situation, including Cartoon Network. You would have had Cartoon Network, the same logo like we had here, and instead of cartoons, you'd had those images. I remember those times. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of stories.
So you're part of American history while being.
I was. If you go to
9/11.
Sun Valley, Idaho, and you talk to elderly people,
Like
and you ask them
Schwarzenegger?
and you ask them about Bob, they'll tell you, oh, the Romanian guy. I made
Yeah.
history there.
But
I was the first employee. The first employee when we got to orientation, when we set foot in the Sun Valley company in the resort, and they looked in the personnel office and were like, "So where are you from?" We were like, it was Luciana, myself, and like 3 weeks later, Adrian came in. Because the first summer, we were 3 of us in Sun Valley. 5, 6 years later, we were 45 or something like that. And then they said, Romania, we've never had anyone from Romania ever before, like ever. We were the first. We got, when Lotzi said earlier about being from Transylvania, I had name tag that said Bob, and it didn't say Romania, it said Transylvania. And this was a starting point, like 9 out of 10 conversation. You had people coming up to you, talking to you, and like, is this a joke, right? I was like, why? Transylvania, that's not a real place. And we'd be like, it's a real place. No, for real, where is that? I'm talking before Google and internet and smartphones. And people started, really, for real, is that a real place? Yeah, it's in Romania, it's this. And we started talking. And are you really from Transylvania? Yes. So are you a vampire? Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I suck. And we started joking and having fun and everything. Yeah, good times.
Well, you're pulling back the curtain for me because from my point of view, Romanian students are known for their customer service and for their strong English. And it just turns out they're fast learners. They learn on the first day on the job, actually. That they just pay attention and they smile and go from there.
Let's do a quick turning about one by one ideas. I'm really curious about you, Chilla. What is the best part of your job? 27 years is a lot, and it must be very rewarding at the end.
Yeah. Do you know what is the best part of my job? It's the end of the season, September, October, when the students come back and they are full of energy and good stories and happy and joyful, and they give us testimonials and photos and videos and all sorts of things. This is one, and the second one would be when just going around the city or in the country, and when I met former participants and I hear their successful stories, and how they changed, how everything changed with this trip to the USA. It's amazing sometimes, and there are so many successful stories. Look at Bob.
I would not be here. Thank you, Chilla. I would not stand here. I would have not been known as who am I today if it
Similar
wasn't for
for
those
me.
6 years. Absolutely, no question asked. Absolutely, yes.
Well, you have the gypsy character, and you have the Hungarian character, Jancsi.
All the
And
characters I have
Laurentiu,
are
do you have an American character?
we should do one, actually.
Yeah.
Let me think about it. That's a good idea. Well, I should think about that.
Southern one maybe, or
I know.
redneck one.
We also had, except being international students in Sun Valley, obviously we had American students from all over United States. And we had people from Alabama and Georgia, and they teached us that y'all come back now, you hear? And then every time you'd leave any place, you'd speak English, like the one that you know, and then people would leave and we would all be like, okay, thank you, bye-bye, see you next time. And you'd had Maggie from Alabama saying, y'all come back now, you're here. Should have been so much, y'all come back now. It was fun. Y'all come back now. Y'all come back now.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun. And we had David. It was the first time in my life there was a guy working in a resort with us, David from New York City. He spoke English. I did not understand a single word from what he said.
From New York?
He would look at
New
me.
York?
Born and raised in New York City, he came for a summer all the way, instead of going north or somewhere closer, he flew all the way to Sun Valley, Idaho. David would speak to me, and I'd be like, I'm sorry, I did not understand.
I'm
I'd be
just
like,
smiling here.
Yeah, and he would ask me, how is it possible not to understand? He said, I speak English. I said, I don't speak the English you're speaking. I did not understand. That guy spoke something from Queens and Bronx and Manhattan, somewhere in a block where I did not understand anything. I understood Maggie from Alabama. I did not understand David from New York. It's like, man, was that English? I would nothing. It was fun. It was fun.
Do you know Cape Town? Have you learned in Cape Town any languages, or from colleagues, or from doing research, or?
Yeah, it's very interesting
Besides
that in South Africa they have 11 official languages. Zulu, Tosa, Afrikaans, and this stuff. But I didn't learn those because it's impossible. You can search
You
on
don't know
YouTube.
anything in Zulu?
No.
Man, you speak Hungarian. You should speak any language in the world.
Yes, that is
You
my
speak-
superpower.
Exactly. You speak Hungarian. What's next? Finnish and any other language on the planet.
Yes, but I didn't learn any new languages. But I learned a very good message. On my last day, we were in a restaurant, dinner, and we had a chat with one of the baristas. And she said that she's waking up every day at 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. to work in that restaurant, and she's working very hard for her girl. And she said to us that her girl name is Hope. And we asked that why it's Hope? And because she said that she knew that her parents, in comparison with her parents, she had and she has a better life because of Mandela, because of the ending of the apartheid, and she also know that with hard working and with learning and with those chances, her girl will also have a better life than she has or she had. And I think that this was at the last dinner, and after this I realized that we have to be thankful for living in the EU without war and with a lot of and such of experiences and opportunities.
I was going to ask you about the things you came home with, but this is, I think, one thing that stays with you forever, to appreciate where you are, even though it's somewhere in between.
Yes.
What else? Like 2 or 3 words that it's inside in your personality after this exchange experiences?
I think that is one that to be thankful and appreciate these things, and the other one is that it all depends what is in your mind. That you can achieve anything you want if you are putting hard work, and you have to be just open, because when I went there I didn't knew anybody from there, but and that was the longest time, just 20 years old there in the southest part in Africa, and every morning I checked on my maps that where I am and how so far I am, and that was Gábor Csepregi, one teacher from the MCC, and he always said that you have to be chill. If you don't nobody in the room, after 20 minutes something will happen. So you have to be open, and you have to smile, and not just the money, but also the connections will coming.
And you to have the smile from the attitude, not just
yes, of course, and yeah.
The smiling wave.
What?
Madagascar cartoon. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. That will work all the time.
Did the youth change, Chilla, throughout the years, or the attitude is just the same? Are the youth in general just adventurous? I believe so. I would like to believe
You mean
that.
the students?
Yes.
No,
You see every generation really close, like the attitude.
Yeah, I've seen like 3 generations. I would say our generation, the X generation, then the I generation, between the ones who were born between the 94 and 2010, and the next one, the very young ones. There is a difference between them, yes, because at first when we went to the States, we didn't have information, and we knew almost nothing about the world. But later on, everything opened, and these young people got access to information, to internet, social media. They can check and double check everything. And but you mean attitude, right? We were so thankful for small things, and now the expectations are higher. you know, like payment-wise.
Is it a bad
like
thing or is it a good
travel-wise.
thing?
It's a good thing, of course it is. This is how we are getting better and better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's almost too much information. If you think about a restaurant, you could read 10 reviews, 9 are positive. One
You
said,
get confused
I
sometimes.
had
Yeah, it's
bad food,
confusing.
right? Same
Yeah,
thing with
they'll be like, yeah, then I'm not going there. But the other one said it's okay. I know.
Yeah.
9 people said New Jersey
Too many choices.
was so much fun. One
Easy.
person says, I was bored. And so I'm not going to New Jersey. What's something else, right?
Yeah. And one more thing, these students are more independent. They can plan their own travel. They don't need a travel agency sometimes. They need us to sponsor the program to get them a job. But traveling, it's easy.
Which makes your job easier now.
It's easy. You book your flight, you book your housing, then you are free. And go, and please go and try this. This is a good experience. You need this. It opens the world for you.
The best thing about going away is to not want to go away anymore, like to have this checked and not sit. I'm feeling that I'm just really happy being here because I tried it, because I've done it, and it's just something that I did, and that's why the main thing is this is why I
Yes, you
absolutely
cannot get this
recommend.
experience online or virtually.
No, never,
No,
never,
definitely.
never. I know MCC students that work for American companies online, which is really cool, but it's still not the same. They will eventually go and try to work also there. You have to touch and feel another culture to be part of it, and that would be the closing line for today. And the public is free to ask anyone questions to each and everyone invited here.
Questions, anyone, anything, ideas, go.
Yes.
My question would be maybe to Chila and Taylor. So you have met many generations of students, and what is one piece of advice you would give to this new generation?
Alpha.
What are we looking for? Should I say it again?
No,
it's fine.
So what are you looking for? What piece of advice would you give to high schoolers or university students who are looking forward to traveling anywhere abroad? So maybe in Europe or in the US?
Sure, I would say, if in doubt, say yes. Volunteer for that activity, whatever it's going to be. You may not feel totally confident about your ability to do it, but don't worry about looking silly. Everyone's going to look silly in their lives. Don't forget, don't worry about making a mistake. That's part of the territory. You're going to learn by doing. And when I was in the Peace Corps, I had the mentality of living in a small village in Africa. If they can do it, I can do it. And I'd have a pot, and they'd take the top off, and there'd be the head of a deer, and that would be dinner. And it would be like, all right, well, if they can eat this, I can eat this. If they can go out in the field and work all day, I should be able to try it at least and see if I can do it. So say yes.
So how's the head of the deer tasting?
Some parts of the deer head are better than others, I will say.
Yeah. I would tell you, do not overthink the organizing the trip and taking the decision. You might be afraid of investing some money in this trip, but believe me, you will get that money back, and the experience will be the best of your life. So go and travel. You are young. It's your time now. And while you are university students, you are eligible for these programs, and do it now. Do it now.
Excuse me, are you a student or high school?
12th grader.
12th grader.
Final year.
Okay, in US?
No.
Here?
Here.
Man, did you hear yourself speaking English?
Yes.
You're doing good. You're not gonna be at the level of this or this. You're doing good already, so good luck. Go for it, go. Just go, man, go. Oh, have fun, go. Congrats, no, really good. Really nice. Anyone?
Yes.
Anything?
Any
Whatever
language,
comes-
any language, Romanian, Hungarian, English.
Yeah.
What do you consider?
The microphone.
On this side of the pole.
For everyone to hear.
what do you think are the key aspects to getting accepted to a work and travel program like this? Besides, of course, speaking English.
So this is for Chilla?
Shall I tell you?
For Chilla, for Taylor, for whoever knows the answer, basically.
Everyone turns head to Taylor.
Well, to start, you have to have at least an intermediate level of English, so you have that going for yourself. You definitely want to be open to different job opportunities. Not everybody is going to be a server on Martha's Vineyard making $20 an hour with free housing, all right? So there's lots of variables out there. The United States is a big country. I'm learning how big Romania is and the differences here between the different cities. Same thing in the United States. Most of your experience is going to be very local, and you're going to meet nice people anywhere you go. So whether that is Sun Valley or New Jersey or Alaska, South Carolina, you're going to meet lots of people and have a great experience and get through the job and learn things in that business and enjoy your time off.
Yeah. And my other advice would be to subscribe as soon as you can. Don't wait until April. We are opening the program in September, October, so as soon as you subscribe for the program, you have more chances to choose from, like job-wise, and we have plenty of job fairs. You can participate and you can say no for a job, you can start over and try another job, and be open-minded. If you are flexible, the world is yours. If you are very strict, then more likely you will have a hard time. Just be open-minded. Yeah.
Thank you.
I would just add one more thing. I know it's fun to travel with friends or in larger groups. I remember after university traveling around Europe for a month with 3 friends, but it was too many. We didn't meet other people because we were always 4 people.
Yeah.
I split off at one point, traveled by myself, and I met lots of people. So being a solo traveler or 2 people broadens your horizons too.
But yeah, like in the US Army recruitment ads, enroll now. You're gonna love it.
You still have time.
One more question if someone wishes, the last one, or we're closing. Okay.
They've been patient people for almost 2 hours. So
Yeah. So thank you all for being here, and thank you all from being here from Cluj, MCC, and US. And hope to see you somewhere in the world.
Good luck.